Peace, grace, and mercy. Time to learn something new. Walk with me. What is the significance of being blood-related and the covenant? We will journey from the Old to the New Testament. Are you ready? What does the Bible say? We will start at Genesis 12 and 2 through 3, and I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. First, Yah says that one man will be a great nation, meaning his seed line, and this seed line would be a blessing, meaning we would lead and the other nations that follow would receive blessings. So, with this being understood, Abraham's seed line would later be scattered amongst all nations, but would lead them, and they would get blessings from them. We then move to Genesis 17 and 7. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee. So, before Abraham was told, now what he was told is now established, and we see it going from him to his seed line. This is why the Bible speaks to the Israelites as the God of their fathers, going back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you notice, nowhere in the Bible does it speak toward another nation as following the God of their fathers. Following up with Genesis 17 and 13. He that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. The word here is coming from the Most High to Abraham, instructing him how to govern his house. This is an establishment of the covenant with Abraham's flesh or blood forever. When we read your flesh, that's specifically speaking to the seed of Abraham which goes into the children of Israel. Let's continue to Exodus 24 and 8. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, Behold the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. Here we see Moses is bringing Israel back to the covenant with the blood symbolizing their relation to their fathers, who are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, this covenant is made with you, the descendants, the Israelites, which is directly to a certain people. Moving on to Leviticus 17 and 11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood. And I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. So through the blood, which is where the contract was made, there is atonement held with the blood symbolizing the cleansing. So we are to remember to keep it separate and holy before we lose the life in us, which is contracted to the Most High through our blood. Let's now get to Leviticus 26 and 42. Then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. We are once again hearing the Most High reiterate the covenant through the direct bloodline in which he says he will remember. Let's venture to Psalms 105 and 9 through 10. Which covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant. See here, there is law and covenant that attach to the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and to the Israelites, which are the descendants which are forever. We will now hear from the prophet Amos 3 and 1 through 2. Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Reminding us here is directed toward the Israelites, as a whole family or a bloodline. The Most High speaks through Amos, saying that we are the only family out of all the families or bloodlines on the earth that he knows, and we will and continue to suffer due to us continually breaking our covenant with him through the blood. So, look around the world and notice over history that only the Negro people have been continuously punished. Let's jump to Matthew 1 and 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. This is letting us know that the Messiah is coming to save his bloodline, or his people, which is why he later says, he comes for the lost sheep of the house of Israel mentioned in Matthew 15 and 24, which is saying he is coming for a specific bloodline to get them back to the covenant or contract, continuing to Matthew 23 and 35. That upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachias, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar. You see, this righteous blood that was shed was through a specific bloodline, letting us know the wicked would always look to take out the righteous, and we are the chosen of the righteous. Most High, moving right along to Matthew 26 and 28. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. The Messiah is letting us know that the bloodshed of him is renewing the covenant that was given to his forefathers that brings us back to righteousness and away from sin. Sticking with the Gospels, we move along to Luke 11 and 51. From the blood of Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, which perished between the altar and the temple, verily I say unto you, it shall be required of this generation. See, we as a nation of Israel are placed before the altar and the temple to be judged first, and we must first come back to the covenant because we are contracted by blood. Let's see what Uncle Paul says in 1 Corinthians 7 and 23. Ye are bought with a price, be not ye the servants of men. See, that price was paid by blood which we seen in Abraham with circumcision of himself and his son Isaac. You see, this world and its religion will have you serving the way they see fit and want you to see the Bible, but when we open our eyes and read, we gain understanding. Speaking of Hebrews, let's go to Hebrews 11 and 8 through 9. By faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. At this point, it's showing Abraham receiving the inheritance by obeying which, when we accept the covenant, we are to be obedient to it. He then showed these things to Isaac his son and his grandson Jacob, and be given the promise. Sticking with Hebrews 13 and 20. Now the God of peace, that brought again from the dead our Lord Jesus, that great shepherd of the sheep, through the blood of the everlasting covenant, the Most High, that rose the Messiah from the dead, which is through the covenant of the blood from Abraham. Let's move on to Hebrews 12 and 24. And to Jesus the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaketh better things than that of Abel. The Messiah, the high priest assigned to bring Israel back into the covenant with connection with the blood, which tracks back to the faithful one in Abel. Now let's run it back, then close it out, Genesis 15 and 12 through 18. As the sun was setting, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a thick and dreadful darkness came over him. Then the Lord said to him, Know for certain that for 400 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and that they will be enslaved and mistreated there. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will come out with great possessions. You, however, will go to your ancestors in peace and be buried at a good old age. In the 4th generation, your descendants will come back here, for the sin of the Amorites has not yet reached its full measure. When the sun had set and darkness had fallen, a smoking firepot with a blazing torch appeared and passed between the pieces. On that day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram and said, To your descendants I give this land, from the Wadi of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates. This is where the covenant through the bloodline of Abraham began. The Most High lets him know that his descendants would go through slavery for 400 years. Then he would punish that nation who we served. Here's the key. The fourth generation from Abraham would be the children of Israel, which were the sons of Jacob his grandson, who would come back to the land given to Abraham by the Most High. Now that we went back to the beginning, let's jump to the end of the book, Revelation 21 and 12 through 14. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So, those descendants of Abraham in the fourth generation, the children of Israel, the names of Jacob's sons are written on the gates to the heavenly kingdom. All of this leads to the blood of the Lamb, which is linked with the family, that seed line that the Most High chose. Did you learn something today?